Let's see. I think we're live. Hey, howdy to everybody watching the YouTube and or podcast edition of our live Empire Strikes Back watch party. I'm so glad that you decided to watch my favorite Star Wars film with myself, and you see them up above me. There we go. Up above me in the shot, you have first from Cloud City Casino. It's Bruce Gibson, everybody.
Hey.
Howdy,
Took
howdy.
a trip from Besbin over here to join you to watch the movie that has Besbin and Cloud City in it.
Besbin. Hello, what have we here? And then, of course, Mark Hurlman, my co-host from the Star Wars Report, is also here with us.
It feels like a Brady Bunch kind of Star Wars Report special. Here's a story of a podcast with Riley, and it had Mark, and today it had Bruce. And they're talking about Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and they're gonna talk about the saga again next week.
Okay. And I just did the appropriate. Oh, nice, Bruce, nice. And I just did all the appropriate. I did all the appropriate video movements. Oh, good Lord. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, go. On the word go, you're going to hit play. If you're watching along with us at home or live and you've got your Blu-ray player booted up past the initial 20th Century Fox logo, past the second 20th Century Fox logo, onto the Lucasfilm logo, because that's the easiest, most recognizable one. The moment it appears in green, sparkling letters, you want to pause your film about 12 seconds into the Blu-ray player and then hit play at the same time as I do on go. So, in 3, 2, 1, go. And we are live. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, here it is, guys. Here it is. Get ready. Get ready. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. It's episode 5. It's the Empire Strikes Back. Ah, such good music. Such good music. I'm gonna pipe that down a little bit while we talk about this amazing music. Also, Bruce, I want to jump to you first.
The opening crawl needs to change.
Oh, it does?
It's got to change. If you've read Battlefront, you know now that everything in the book. No, we just have some scenes that are interlining. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, gentlemen, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is when you first saw this movie, particularly you, Bruce. You first saw this in theaters, right?
I did back in the day. Yes, I did.
It was back in 1987. Actually, no, it was 80. It was 80. I know, guys. Stop sending your emails. Stop it. Stop. Okay, good. Bruce, as a kid, when you first saw this film, were you kind of ticked off at the end that they had this giant cliffhanger and all the heroes lost and were defeated and barely escaped with their lives except for Han Solo because we weren't sure?
Yes, you read my mind. I was very ticked off. I remember leaving the theater and thinking, this really sucks because I want to know what happens to Han because I don't know if he's really going to be alive or dead, and I have to wait 3 years to find out what happened to Han, if he's okay. And at the same time, I'm like, was Vader lying or was he telling the truth? And I just couldn't believe I had to wait 3 years. And 3 years is a long time for a kid.
Yeah, it is. I also want to point out, despite that intelligent commentary, I was totally distracted by just how perfectly in sync all 3 of our videos are if you look at the broadcast on Twitch, especially Bruce, because you can see it best there. But we're literally like maybe a quarter of a second off. So bravo to us.
It's cold.
Yeah, no, it's... I remember because I feel it's kind of unfair because I saw Empire and I already knew the reveal. I probably knew less about Return of the Jedi going into it than I did Empire because I knew Darth Vader was Luke's father. Oh, man, this is such a good shot. Oh.
You gave away the ending.
I'm sorry, I just really spoiled it for everybody. But seriously, I remember being really sad at the end, but for me it was really exciting because that meant, I get to go watch Jedi now. Let's go. Quick, Dad. Put on the Return of the Jedi now. But it wouldn't be a little while. until I saw Return of the Jedi. But that, still, I could go like within a matter of months. I would be seeing the next film instead of waiting 3 years.
Yes, you had that luxury that you could just jump around to whatever movie you wanted to see at that very moment. You didn't have to have that long wait.
People have the Hamilton edit and whatever the other edit was. That guy who does, what is it, 4-5-1-2-3-6 or 4-5-2-3-6? I forget the name of the guy who popularized that a couple years ago. Still, by the way, making my way through How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. I'm now about 3/4 of the way through. I'm in the last couple chapters are left, and it's just, it's really good. And I've talked about it before, but like even here, I remember reading about Empire and just how much of a challenge it was for them to get it going and get it off the ground, even though it would seem like a no-brainer. But because of the way the studio system worked, Fox actually wasn't as much behind it as you would think because they didn't own very much of it. But man, the set design here is just insanely good. It holds up so well, too. Mark, how did...
It looks good on the video game, too.
Do you remember when you first saw it, Mark?
Yeah, you know, I remember the time, because I remember, you know, how Bruce felt kind of disappointed. I felt like, this feels so much like Back to the Future, you know, because at the time, I'd watched Back to the Future first, and so, you know, that whole cliffhanger ending was the last place that kind of left me feeling that way.
Yeah. It is. It's
I just remember everything about this was so dark, you know, and that was one of the things that really resonated with me. Like for the longest time, it was the one movie that felt like the bad guys won. And since then, like aside from, you know, G.I. Joe, I think Fight Club's about the only movie where you really feel the bad guys got away winning. But I always felt like, you know, when Han went in and that whole moment, it was like, Han was one of my favorite characters, so I was with Bruce. It was like, man, I hope he's not going to die here, you know. So with 3PO, was like, oh, he should be quite fine. I was like, oh, thank God, because I really was thinking, oh, they're going to kill Han so they can, you know, perfect the process for Luke, and that scared me.
No, absolutely, it is. And what's interesting is, wow, the pacing of this is so pitch perfect too. And this is the first time that we really get introduced to romance in Star Wars. Because literally the only thing we get about romance in Star Wars before this is for luck. And she kisses her brother, which, of course, they didn't plan at the time. But here, like, right into it within a matter of minutes, there's this sort of...
tension.
Yeah, well, there's tension, and there's this mystery immediately of, like, they're off hiding from the Empire, and we already, despite blowing up the Death Star within a matter of minutes, we already know that the rebels are on the run, on the defense. And Han Solo, despite being redeemed at the end of the last film, it shows that wasn't necessarily his complete character arc. He still has reservations. And let's all be honest, he's just sticking around because it's freaking Carrie Fisher.
Absolutely. You know, one of the interesting things about Battlefront is that we've now learned that the evacuation of Hoth took 14 days. It's not because one of the characters is on Echo Base, had brought an important person there to meet with the rebel leadership, and they call in and they're like, you know, EK-10 is or like E1, I don't know what they call it, K10 or
You're
something like that.
You're ahead of me, man.
And yeah, and then like 14 days later is when everybody shows up. It's like, wow, 14 days. And they're talking about how everything was designed to flow and go. But I'm like, 14 days? Like, dang, you're glad that they didn't show up earlier. Because, I mean, they still struggled to get them off. But you learn that one of the characters is in that first transport. So it was pretty cool. They lined them up.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man.
So you're saying that this scene that we're watching now is 14 days after they started the process of evacuating Hoth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They were literally the last of people. But when the Empire shows up and they're like the first transport way, that's out of there. But that was the first after the Empire shows up kind of scenario.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I was like, oh, yeah, you never know where the new canon's going to go with things. And that's not out of the norm, but it is a cool little tie-in.
Absolutely. We're going to get ready in just a second.
You guys saw the deleted scene for this with 3PO where he tears off the thing and gets the Wampas to come out.
So good. What's interesting, as much trouble as they had making the Wampa convincing, There's still the tauntauns are right on point, and it's literally probably the only thing that isn't quite as convincing is the Wampa. Of course, in these shots it is because this is post special edition. All right, guys.
Okay, I want to ask a question about this scene. How did Luke's feet get cemented in the ice? Do Wampas breathe fire? Do they got really hot, steamy breath? And then
I was gonna say that's
congealed again.
I always wondered about that. Like, how does that work?
I thought they had heat vision like Superman. He just zzz with his eye.
He's like,
oh, Jeremy Burt's. I'm just now catching up on the chat. But yeah, Jeremy Burt's in the chat was saying Drew McWeeny. Yeah, that's the guy who kind of pioneered the order of watching the movies, which we chronicled on the Star Wars Report, experimenting it with someone who's never seen the films before. That was a blast. That's probably some of the most fun we've had on the Star Wars Report podcast ever. Seriously. Yeah. So, folks, what I want you to do if you're listening or watching live, you can shoot a name. I think I'm allowing calls regardless, but if it doesn't work, you can send a contact request to Skype username Jedi Riles. That's my personal Skype username. That's what I'm going to be using. We're going to take calls from you guys this entire evening as we watch the movie and talk about Empire, talk about whatever's going on in the news, whatever's happening. And we're just going to have a great time. So what I'm going to do is, because of the way the video shot is set up, is that just call in, and I'll add you to the call. And then we'll just ask, especially if there's a bunch of folks calling in, we'll rotate you guys through, make sure everyone gets a chance to call in case that happens. And if we have more spare time, feel free to call back in as well. We'll just kind of see how it goes from here. And then I'll tell you guys all about my Star Wars shopping spree in a second. But this is your chance. Ring, 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 ring. Call away, and I'll wait for the delay to hit the folks who are listening live at Skype.
So do you guys like the new? Do you guys like the new Wampa in the special edition? I do.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
Yeah,
I like him, Bruce. I like him so much better than the pre-special edition one. I think it's a very you know that
look.
That previous one was just bad, and this new one's much better. He said very sarcastically because he's never seen the pre-special edition one.
See, okay,
it was going over your head, and I saw it.
Of this film, aside from when Han gets put in the carbonite, is when R2 does that. Ooh, when they shut the blast doors, man. I mean, that's some sad stuff there. You're like, I know, little buddy. You know, that's the moment he's totally channeling the dog. He's the Chewie in this moment. You know, he's the little puppy dog that's waiting for you to come home. He's like, don't go to work. I want to throw the ball.
Oh. Right now, there's a press junket going on for The Force Awakens, evidently, tonight.
Yeah.
I've not been following it.
All the cool kids are doing that.
We're just sitting here gonna watch the movie. That's what we do.
We got Star Wars. They can have press conferences. We got the real deal.
Here we go. We got Daniel Miller on the line.
I'm kidding. I want to go to a press conference.
I'm gonna add Daniel to our call here and see if it works. Daniel, are you there?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Yeah, I've been a listener for about a year now, you know, and I listened to all the rounds, Full of Sith, all those guys. You know, I saw Bobby Roberts was on last night. That was really cool. And it's just I finally got a chance to be able to like settle down and like, you know, hit the social media and, you know, finally get in contact with you guys. So it's actually been really great.
Good. Welcome. Nice. Welcome to the hellhole that is Star Wars fandom online.
The bottom pit.
Nice, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Suck up your whole life.
And he's being too modest. He's being far too modest. Daniel's one of our newest patrons, so we salute you, sir. I raise my hot chocolate mug to you, sir.
Hey, you guys do a great job. You deserve it.
Thanks so much. Well, I'm curious, but I know you probably have questions and want to talk to us. But let me ask you, how did you hear about the various Star Wars podcasts? Because usually, like, you start with one and then you hear about others. Who did you first hear of?
Actually, you were my first, Riley. You were my first.
Oh, you shouldn't have. That's no way.
Actually, truth be told, I actually went on Google and just Googled, you know, top Star Wars podcasts, and there was the Star Wars report, and I was like, okay, here we go. Let's give it a shot. Started
When you
listening
say
to you
there was
guys.
the Star Wars report, wait, was it at the top of the page, or did you scroll all the way to the bottom?
Okay, all right, Bruce.
No. It was within the top 10. You guys were definitely mentioned and highly
Bruce,
rated.
I'll have you know that on the
friendly.
I'll have you know, Bruce, that on the Google keyword search for Star Wars podcast, Star Wars Report is the #1 result, sir.
Excellent.
And we made it a feature on StarWars.com. I mean, that's pretty cool.
And
toot.
Riley, I just also would like to say that I just love it every time when you start to talk like a 50s announcer.
Oh, no, don't get him started.
I
Phasma!
always feel like I'm at a ball game for the Cubs.
Yeah, here, Luke, give me a sign, Luke Skywalker.
My barber shop is Rogue Barbers, and they've got that whole speakeasy feel.
I feel like
Go in there
Riley
and
would
they're
be a
all dolled up.
detective from the 20s.
Oh. Yeah, see, we're watching the... Okay, I can't... See, now I'm actually under pressure and I can't do it as much. But seriously, dude, that's awesome, man. I am genuinely shocked because we're always, like, usually when I talk to people, because I jumped into this... We jumped into the game about 2011 or so, which now is kind of early on in terms of starting the Star Wars Report.
You were 2009, because I started podcasting in 200009, which means you applied for the job in 2009.
No, I'm talking about for Star Wars Report, yeah, because we were dabbling around with EU Cantina and stuff before that, but actually launching our own show. So normally, like, when I talk to people, it's like, yeah, I heard about you on Geek Out Loud, or I heard about you on Rebel Force Radio, or something like that. So that's really cool, man. I'm actually very, very excited that this happened. So.
Yeah, you guys actually opened the door for the other podcasts for me, and it's just been great. Since,
well, I want you to be sure to tell them that, because...
Yeah, we like to hold the door open. Make sure everyone gets in. Hey, there's plenty of room in this fandom, guys. Come on, push to the back, push to the back. We got newbies coming every day.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on my own little island sometimes where I live here, and no one seems to get it. But, I listen to your podcast, and I'm like, man, and Mark, I just picture this emphatic man flailing his arms every time he goes nuts about, the EU. Oh, I love your insight on the EU, my friend. I could go on for hours with you about it. You guys are just are great, and I'm glad I got to call in and let you guys know.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go for a favorite moment in Empire Strikes Back. I think we'll make this a theme of the evening for the folks as they call in.
It's coming up right here.
Actually, my favorite moment, I would have to say, is definitely when Luke and Vader encounter each other in the carbon freezing chamber. I mean, there's just so much just tension, it's just so thick, and just like all that steam, it's almost just like another, I can't think of the word. It's like it just like symbolizes the thickness of tension. I feel like, you can't see, nobody knows exactly what's going on. Everything's so elusive, and it's just like all of a sudden just this great battle just ensues. And now that with these comic books and stuff, it's just you're starting to get all this great emotion and backstory on how Vader feels about this rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, who he finds out, I don't want to release any spoilers if anybody hasn't read the comic books yet, but man, do they really bring the emotion of Vader in when it comes to him knowing what he's dealing with. Trying not to give any spoilers away, but seriously, it's wonderful now rewatching The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It slowly climbed up as I aged, as I became wise. As I achieved the wisdom of a now 24-year-old, I've become to appreciate this film more and more to where it became my favorite.
It's a different set of goggles every decade.
They're
like, here, now you get the Captain Phasma goggles.
Okay, all right.
Captain Phasma.
Exactly. I want everyone to record themselves in screenings of this movie. Maybe not opening night, but when you go for your subsequent viewing, just at some point, the second Gwendolyn Christie appears on screen, just in the middle of the audience, just do your best to yell, Captain Phasma! And then just record it. And just...
no.
Truthfully, that's the voice, not just yours, Raleigh, but that's the tone and accent that I heard it in when I first heard of that character. It was just instantly like black and white film, evil, guy in the corner, just Captain Phasma.
Now we just need we need Kylo Ren to be something like some sort of caricature of Flash Gordon villain. It's like, ooh, Captain Phasma. I see you've
He's going
arrived.
to come and get us.
You and your silver armor.
You dirty captain.
You dirty captain,
and your
you.
silly stormtroopers. You are nothing to the Knights of Ren. Well, in my really cool crossover blade.
Well, that's creepily good, sir. Okay.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, good Lord. All right, Daniel, thanks for calling in, and we'll bring you back in.
Hey.
It looks like depends on how the rotation goes, but we'll open up the lines here. But it's good to talk to you, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you
good
soon.
to have you on. Thanks for supporting us, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
No problem. See you guys.
And that's Daniel from the chat and a fine patron supporter of us here at the Star Wars Report podcast. Good times. Good times. Lines are open, folks. Just give us a ring. I should get a notification, and I'll bring you right in on the call.
Now, which one is
I
Daniel
gotta
in the
say,
chat?
I don't know.
and
I
there's
don't.
that.
Let me find. I think it's stay on target.
Daniel, tell us in the chat
I believe
which
it's
one you are.
stay on target.
It's over
is-
here. Wave your hand.
Stay on
I gotta say the probe droid is probably one of my favorite sounds in Star Wars. Aside from say the pod racers and the TIE fighters themselves, but that I love it, man.
What-
I
we
love
just
it.
skipped right
we
past-
Put it in the beginning of Beyond the Films. I use it for a ringtone.
We skipped past one of my favorite scenes of all time, which is the snowspeeder pilot who finds Han Solo.
Yep.
And you gotta
I pointed
know.
at it when you asked. I'm like, it's happening right
I know
now.
we were talking to Daniel. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt him, but yeah, we'll bring in. Oh wait, let's bring in a caller here. Let me see if I can add him to the call.
One of the scariest things though in Star
Let me
Wars,
see if
you
I
guys were
can-
talking about that the other day on Star Wars Tonight. It's in this film for me. It's when Yoda does that. You will be. The puppet in that scene scared the crap out of me, man. I remember having nightmares from that. That and E.T., which is a whole nother story, which I think I may have shared long ago, but whew. Creepy.
Let's see. So I see Smallville in the Skype gave us a call, but I think I need to actually send them a contact request because yeah, there we go. So you do have to send a contact request.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, is this Woo Ask Him?
It is. Sorry I had to move my audio for the chat because I didn't want to be all confused.
Not at all.
These voices everywhere.
What's funny, man, is that you gotta turn off your radio, sir, because I can actually hear Empire Strikes Back rolling along in the background of you.
Okay. So take somebody else's call and just roll me back into the rotation later.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. No worries, man. All right. Well, we'll catch you soon. And then I realized that we have to share contact details to add to the group call. So, by all means, shoot over a contact.
Observation while we're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Those new transports. I don't know any of you guys out there playing Battlefront, but there's a lot of those out there. I've got a great appreciation for those now. I used to not realize that they were almost like, for a lack of a better term, a long pocket. They're just putting those little storage containers you see everywhere. They're like magnetizing to each other on the inside. Like in the recent Rebels, well, not so recent now, but when Hera brought the Ghost in and they had that bottom where it caught the crates on the outside,
Yep.
it's like that. They're all mag locked together inside. It's like an outer shell, like a croissant.
Absolutely.
I thought that was kind of cool.
So back to my favorite scene is that snowspeeder, because you know
Yes,
that
let's go back to that.
Han Solo is kind of a famous hero. So is Luke Skywalker. They're the freaking people who blew up the Death Star. So this guy knows that when he shows back up at the Rebel base, whatever snow speed rescue squadron, whatever rescue pilot finds these two, he's the hero, right? So that you find that when he says, Rebel base, this is Rogue 2. I repeat, Rogue 2. That is the number 2. Just so that you know, it's Rogue 2, and I found him. Repeat, I found him. And I find that
At the
hilarious.
base, they're like, Deuce did it! Deuce got him!
And I have
Way
to-
go, Deuce!
And I have to
You
do that.
my
Probably
boy,
made it-
Deuce!
He made a bet and he knows he won. He's like, yes, I won the bet. I told them I would be the one who finds them.
I told him
Repeat.
Solo'd pull through.
I found
I gotta
them.
stuff them in the back of my ship somehow. I need to find the room.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think I have everything working, so you can shoot me a contact request on Skype. The username's Jedi Riles, and we can take calls from here. We are set up and ready to go, which makes me very happy. Very happy.
Just remember to mute before you call.
Let's see.
Oh, look, it's Vader's DJ booth. Oh, to have a booth like that.
Captain Piet,
Yes, my lord.
make ready to
Okay,
land
come
off
on, that's scary.
beyond the
Vader is
interview.
reaching out and touching someone through the Force on monitors. That's scary, Sith.
That is.
I'd be like,
And it's when I watched
Vader's
it.
calling? Can I reject it and just say I'll hit you back later, boss?
When I saw this scene, I thought of it as sorry, I got distracted because it's Carrie Fisher again. When I first saw it, I always thought those scenes were rather comedic. I always laughed at the moments when Darth Vader would choke someone out, and especially like how theatrical he goes out. Captain Piet, you are now in command.
Now we got Cliff and Rogue Squadron getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, let's get a beer when this is done.
Hey
Go down and
guys,
fight more.
everybody, let's find our stations here. Let's get ready for the AT-AT walkers.
Yeah, and then we have 90210's dad, whatever his name was.
Oh, are you talking? I don't know who you're talking about, Mark.
Oh, is he
He
in
was
this?
the guy looking at
Matt Lanner's dad? Are you talking about Matt
Wasn't it
Lanner?
Beverly Hills 90210, the original
Oh, you're talking.
Beasley or whatever.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I never knew that.
There we go.
There's so many old actors in this. Old, they're not really old, but
All right,
so
adding.
many actors. And Riley knows how terrible I am when it comes to.
Yes, I do. Woo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here,
There.
gentlemen. Yes, I'm here.
Awesome sauce, man. All right, let's say it. Let's hear it. Your favorite moment in The Empire Strikes Back.
My favorite moment? I've got a lot because.
Is it this
overall,
one? The first transport is away.
With the use of the giant boob nipple gun.
That's okay. All right now. Hey,
Yes.
mine's out of the gutter now.
Well, I want to try some of those cookies from that one stormtrooper, because he did open up a cookie business.
Nice. So,
That's
but
my
do you have a
favorite
like?
something.
This is a pretty good moment, but do you have an absolute favorite moment from Empire Strikes Back? I'm curious now.
I think I think it has to be, this is just hearing the behind the scenes stuff. The scene where Vader tells Luke the truth about his father, and the deep secrecy that was around that scene.
Yeah, no.
Knowing that it was like 3 people knew, even David Prowse.
I was gonna say,
didn't know.
not even the very now grumpy David Prowse didn't know at the time the terrible secret, and they were very secretive about Lucasfilm. Actually, there's a great story about that whole situation and the details of how it went down in How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. Have you read that by any chance, Woo?
No, I have not.
Get it?
Sounds like you're the only one that's read that, so
Well,
you're the only one.
It's actually the fair point, sir. Fair point. Wait, I'm an evangelist now, because
Yeah, for a guy who has no time, man, you should find a way to carve out rare books.
this is true. I always make time for my reading.
Learned that skill from Captain Phasma.
Captain Phasma.
Yeah, not to be confused with Captain Plasma. He's doing the Bloodmobile tomorrow.
Exactly, man. Wow, that's man. I'll tell you what. I'm getting so lost in this battle because the
The
VFX.
stop
The
motion.
AT-ATs
like,
are so great.
the Lucasfilm people, like he said this during Empire of Dreams that he really wanted to push that stop motion aspect of it, and you could see it in this first 2 sequences.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, it cleans up so nicely in the Blu-ray because of the way the lighting is. And it's funny because on Star Wars Tonight, I was taking cheap shots at Dak Ralter, but
Dax got this one, everybody.
no, he doesn't, as we just now saw.
Right to the
In
face.
the face.
Face.
Dak Ralter's got it, but his face is gone.
It's funny because to me, every time, say what you will about every time that they re-release these films, every time a new format's come out for Empire, I notice new things.
Absolutely, man. I want everybody to look in the Twitch video right now, and you're gonna see. Let me make sure here. There we go. This is the Lego Snowspeeder. I just finished it, putting it back together.
You finished it. Finished it.
I say,
Well,
Wedge, I lost my gunner.
About,
You're gonna have to make this shot.
About the second Death Star, Lego. Even though it's half built, is it really finished? The second Death Star.
Well, it may not be built, it may not be finished, but we know one thing, Woo. It's fully operational. Boom!
Yes.
Oh, boom! Oh, that's good
shot,
spice. Good shot, Johnson.
Our weapons have no chance against a weapon of that magnitude.
Exactly, man. Well, Woo, thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. And thanks so much for supporting us. You're also one of our fine patrons. We appreciate it and supporting us, and then of course tuning in live all the time. We really appreciate it, man.
I will be in the chat. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Hey, and Woo, and because of your name, I'm going to show you on the video. I've got a Smallville disc right here, CD disc.
Hey,
Yes.
there it is.
Man, that show looks so dated now. Like compared to the other comic book stuff on TV.
It really does. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
So
Bye-bye.
one of the things about this last scene that really jumped out to me, I love so much, is you see Wedge and Wes Jansen, take down that AT-AT. And that's always had a special spot for me because, I'm a Legends fan, and they had some great stories in the Rogue Squadron and Race Squadron books. So getting to see them have their character moment, the moment that they were spawned from in the films, and having that tie-in was something that was always cool. It's something I'm looking forward to. We were talking about this just the other day, Riley, about with the new books being canon, when those characters kind of start playing back and forth and stuff, and we start to have books that flesh out characters in new directions that we've never really understood. Like, oh, he was just a background character before. Well, now he's got a book.
Absolutely. I've removed the headphones and plugged the audio into the speakers just to get everything rolling. Also, gentlemen, I have done something that I am very excited about. And that is, I have gone on a Star Wars shopping spree. So I'm going to do a mini version here of what I hate when other people do it because I think it's dumb, but I'm going to do it here because it's not dumb when I do it.
No, it's not. I want to see what you got.
I'm going to do some unboxing, gentlemen. So let me rush around to the other side of the desk here. I'm going to have to turn the sensitivity on the gain way up. There we go. So you can kind of hear me.
That was sad, Rogue 2 dying just now, by the way.
So it is at Walmart. They're not sponsoring this episode. But you're going to see... I got some Star Wars t-shirts. So here's the thing, guys. You need to know this about me. And that is, I never buy stuff. Ever. Like, I have a comically small amount of Star Wars collectibles. So, as you can see here on the shirt, this is what I'm wearing now. It is a Kylo Ren t-shirt from Walmart. And they've got quite an amazing selection. It turns out, with the new movie, they've got all kinds of stuff here. So the first item I have for you, gentlemen, after going on this... And by the way, my version of this is that I told Mark on the phone before we started today, Bruce, that I, for the first time in my life, got 2 paychecks in a row. So I considered it a steady enough income from the Air Force with my monthly stipend where I had a little bit of budget set aside. So I put some aside for Christmas, for charity, and then also for what I call the Riley Blanton Star Wars Fund. Because
it's
that's
like a holiday bonus check is what you got.
It's kind of what I did, exactly. It's for myself. So, of course, I spent a lot of today getting this bookshelf going, but we'll get into that later. But the other thing I got is this epic fail t-shirt of the Death Star 2. And then the other t-shirt I got of the other one is, of course, you got to go with some Fett. So I got the Boba Fett shirt. So now I'm excited. I can be styling when we do things like go to the movie premiere and go to conventions. The other 2 items
and profiling, yeah, because you only have like what 2 or 3 Star Wars shirts that you
I'm up to like 4 or 5 now. Like the first year.
Give credit though. I mean, of those shirts that he had the ones that we all as fans refer to as the badass one I want, especially that one with the flag where they're lifting the flag, and then he had the cool
That's true.
Calvin and Hobbes. I mean, you had some choice ones.
That's true. That's true. I did. The other items is a new Lego. I'm becoming a huge fan here of the Lego Micro Fighters. This is the Millennium Falcon one that I just built, as you can see here. And then I'm also
for Mark and I, we're on a delay, so we're going to react like 20 seconds after you show these things.
And I got to.
Oh, that's true because I don't have my Skype video turned on. I just realized that. But that way you guys will be able to react along with the audience then. And then so what I bought is the micro.
You can see though, Riley, is this the same Millennium Falcon one you're talking about?
No. It's actually
Bigger?
it's the kind that has a minifigure sitting in it. And so like I'm showing off the Snowspeeder one, which is apt because of the movie we're watching right now. And I might actually go ahead and build it too.
Oh.
But like I said last night, that's well, actually I'll get into that in a second. The last thing of the unboxing video is the first Hasbro Star Wars figures I have purchased since. Wait for it. Actually, let's take a. We're gonna each have you pick a year. Each pick a year. Let's go for you, Bruce. What year do you think was the last time I bought a Star Wars action figure?
I'm going to say 2006.
It's good. It's good close one. Mark, what are you gonna say? See, this is the problem. Mark's already talked to me on the phone about this particular item.
Let's go with 2001.
2001 is no. You're right. That's super early. No, it was 2008. So of the warmest Bruce wins because I have right here.
Is that my prize? Is a Hasbro figure?
Wait, did you get it at Star Wars Celebration 5?
No.
Because I remember you got a figure there that I was like, oh, that's sick.
No, I bought 1 or 2 Clone Wars figures when they came out, but I have the Vader Ahsoka 2-pack, which I still haven't watched that episode of Rebels, which aired Wednesday. Oh goodness, I'm dropping stuff here, right and left. All right, now I'm going to turn the gain back down off of this thing.
Yeah.
All right, check 1 2 1 2. That's better. Goodness. So there it is. I'm very excited. And last night, you know how we were watching A New Hope, and I just lost all concentration and couldn't actually build stuff. Afterwards, I was working in the studio and I finished building the X-wing, which I showed the folks who are watching live at first. But I feel like it merits. A second look. I don't know why Luke is standing on top of it like a stuntman. So this has been, ladies and gentlemen, Unboxing with Riley Blanton.
Out of the box with Blanton.
Actually, that's not a bad title. I feel like we need to be doing more YouTube content anyway. So it can't hurt to maybe do some unboxings or something like that.
You know, one of another favorite scene of mine is when Han comes in and starts yelling at Chewie for pulling it apart. He's like, "What are you doing? Why are you pulling it apart now?" Like, I would love to know what Chewie was saying. Well, dumbass, I've had this part apart for we're not gonna go very far. Like, what mechanically was Chewie saying to Han? Because he had a reason for pushing that, especially in light of the fact now that they've known for 14 days they were in the process of evacuating.
Right. Well, 14 days on Hoth are shorter than Earth days, so maybe it wasn't as long as we think it is.
This is true. This is so true.
So can I share something with you real quick?
Sure thing. Go for it, man.
See, I asked permission. So here we go. This is my original soundtrack that I got in 1980 of The Empire Strikes Back. The record album with all the little pages in it and stuff, which I'm showing here on the video.
All right. Let me, I got to check this out here. Pull it up on, I got to pull up my Skype so that I can see it. Whoa. Nice.
Ta-da. With all the little pages and stuff. And what's interesting is here in the back, remember, this is 1980. This came out. In the back, it says, this new motion picture is a further episode in the epic adventure spanning 40 years. The whole adventure is divided into 3 trilogies, with Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back as the first 2 parts of the middle trilogy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen,
nice.
From 1980. And now, in 2015, it comes true. Thank you very much. I'm so excited. I can't wait till next week.
Nice. Well, it looks
I've
like
got the first record.
I think we got. I think
Not
I
any
just.
others.
I think I just missed a call that came through.
Oh. Call back.
All right, let me.
Hey, Bruce, can you share me a screenshot of that?
Here we go. I'm gonna add
on
Matt.
Facebook?
I'm gonna add Matt to the call
Yes.
here.
That's awesome.
And
Of what it says?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
and we shall see if Mr. Matt picks up. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Oh, he comes
sir.
prepared down to the video. I like it.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Not too bad, thank you very much. How are you?
Doing fantastic. All right, Matt, where are you right now?
I'm in Australia. I'm in my room.
What
I'm
time is
watching-
it in the land down under?
It is 12:47 in the afternoon.
Okay, I was gonna say like, well, you're up really late, man, and then I was like, no, it's actually, it's like we're your lunch hour basically. Well, thanks.
Yeah, more or less.
Thanks for joining us, man. I've got to ask you, what's your favorite moment from The Empire
all
Strikes Back?
Favorite moment would probably have to be just anything on Dagobah. I
Cop
just
out,
love
cop
the
out.
scenes with-
You got to be specific, man.
Oh, far out. You made it difficult for me. Far out. Okay. Luke's venture into the cave and his fantastical fight with Darth Vader. That would probably have to be
Yes.
my favorite scene.
That is
Nice.
a good
That is
one.
a good one.
Good choice,
Mhm.
sir. I like it. Yeah, it's that's one of those scenes that still feels kind of otherworldly when it comes to the Star Wars canon. Although Dagobah does feel like that as a whole too, if we're honest. That's probably the most mystical Star Wars ever gets, which I kind of like.
No, definitely.
Absolutely, man.
It's mysterious. It's tropical. It's out there. It's and it's a neat little place for hipsters and other hippies and people to go and live. So Dagobah could
Do
be
you
a good
think?
place to live.
Do you think Yoda had some hippie friends? Because I kind of like to think that
Yeah,
he did. He's just like hanging out.
Try my
You know, I'm-
It's really good.
I'm surprised that Yaddle didn't go and follow him there, and they could have they could have really partied.
This
there.
just
I don't
started
know.
like a
I'm cool
commune.
for them.
Exactly. Now we
It's the
know.
little tadpoles.
Back in Revenge of the Sith, everyone's like, why didn't they go battle them together? And Yoda's like, no, we've got to fight them separately. And the real deal is he knew that Yaddle was hanging out waiting for him on Dagobah.
Yep, that's the way.
Exactly. Well, what's your story? What's how are you familiar with this very program? What brings you to this live show tonight?
Far out. I was listening to the Star Wars Report maybe a few years ago, and I was kind of listening to it religiously for a little while, pardon. And then after that, I just sort of lost all this time, and I didn't have any time to listen. So, I'm sort of, now that The Force Awakens is coming out, I've been taking notice of the Facebook feed and everything happening, and I was like, ooh, live screenings of Star Wars. I need to go and watch this.
Nice.
And
Well, in the words of Han Solo himself, we're home. We appreciate you coming back. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And it looks like we got Red 5 Mom calling in a second. We'll get to you in a second. But before we go, I've got to say, what was your favorite podcast episode it doesn't have to be episode, but stuff that we did in the old days? I'm doing market research
far
right
out.
here.
Goodness gracious me.
Did you
I can't
even
remember
have a
anything.
favorite part?
Oh, come
Thanks,
on.
Bruce.
No,
Thanks, Bruce.
No, look, I don't remember any specific moments. I just remember sitting in the chat, and I remember having a discussion about what was the name of that guy with the really annoying voice who did those film reviews about Star Wars.
You're talking about Mike Stoklasa, a.k.a. Mr. Plinkett.
Yeah, him. That was memorable. But I also remember you having chats with Nathan P. Butler and all those other cool people. And I remember that Danny Pepane came into the chat once, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's awesome. He's one of my idols.
Yeah,
so that was kind of
absolutely. He was the early days of Star Wars fan audio. He's the man. All right, well, wow, we got like 2 or 3 more folks in the line, so we'll go ahead and let you go, Matt. But thanks so much for joining us. It's great to talk to you.
no worries. It's
And
a
check
pleasure,
out- Absolutely, and check
Love
out
it.
try out Star Wars
Yeah.
Tonight. I think it might be your cup of tea.
Absolutely.
I never miss a chance to plug, sir. All right, we'll talk to you soon, man.
No worries.
Bye-bye. That is Matt. Awesome sauce. Let's take a look at who else we got in the lineup, and we'll kind of see what else we have
about
here.
to be attacked by a humpback snake.
Here we go. I'm going to see if I can get Red 5 Mom in the call. Boodaloo. Call Skype. We'll see if we can get Red 5 Mom.
Isn't there a name for that creature in the swamp, or dragon or something?
I don't know. That thing freaked me out. That thing...
Yeah, it was a dragon snake is what they had it in Legends.
Yeah.
They had a little tail for it.
Yeah, no, it definitely
freaked me
freaked me out.
is that the X-Wing sinks later. It's like, shouldn't it have been kind of like sinking now, or is it sitting on a quick and spot?
We'll talk about that in a second. Right now, I got to bring her in. It's Red 5 Mom from the chat, as well as one of our fine patrons. We appreciate you coming on and calling in, Red 5 Mom. How's it going?
Hey, Riley.
Hey, have you gotten my package yet? The parcel that I've sent through mail, by any chance?
Not yet. Didn't you just send it last week?
I think I did. Sometimes mail is faster than it isn't. I'm of the generation that if Amazon hasn't done a 2-day shipping, I think it's the slowest thing in the world. It's unfortunate, but
exactly.
Well, thanks so much for calling in. Let's talk about it. Your favorite moment from The Empire Strikes Back.
I have to say my very favorite moment is when Yoda gets Luke's X-Wing out of the swamp.
Yes. That is such a good moment. And we're coming up on it pretty soon here, actually, because we finally landed on Dagobah here as we see the kind of back and forth between the very, very dirty R2.
Yeah.
That was
the first time. That's the first time we really see the Force, what it can really do, and it just blows you away.
It sure does, and it's you get a true sense of the power, because up to this point, the only thing we ever see is like I almost said you want to go home and rethink your life. No, move along from we see a few brief moments. We see Darth Vader choking people, but like moving an entire X-wing, that's insane. That's huge.
Exactly.
Judge me by my size, do you?
Yes.
So
Bruce.
Red Mom 5, when did or Red
All right.
5 Mom?
Thank
that's
you.
It, right?
Get it right,
Five.
Bruce. Come on.
Yes. Red 5 Mom. When was the first time you saw The Empire Strikes Back, and where was it?
1983 in Denver, Colorado. I think I was like 20 or 21 when I saw it.
Nice.
I was 17 or 16 when I saw Star Wars.
Wow, that's man, and I'm, as I've said. All right, so I'm going to ask you: have you read How Star Wars Conquered the Universe? This is going to be the theme now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But because you've mentioned it, I have to now.
All right, yeah, awesome. I like that Wu was just like, yeah, no one's read it besides you,
when
Riley.
the ship moved, do you guys think that was like Han's ringing of the bell? Like, something's not right here. Ships shouldn't move like that, even on an asteroid that's spinning in outer space. It's a weird
That's
scene.
so true. What's funny is that the structure of Empire you would think you would think would be slow paced, but it's not. Like with the sheer amount of time that they're just in hiding here, stuck on the quote dink asteroid. You would think it's slow paced, but it's not at all. It takes the breathing moments at just the right pace in a way that I don't think any of the other films do.
And it raises a quandary for those people out there paying attention to ships and hyperdrives. I know Erich is going to hate me for this, but the Falcon's
Erich was giving you a hard time, man.
It gets to Bespin at the same time Luke does practically. I mean, there's a little time travel conundrum there that I know some fans have really thought out. I don't put that much stock into thinking it out, but I just always thought it was kind of interesting that
that was
the distance.
That was Leland Chee's job to figure out like the exact amount of time that it takes to be here and there, and who was stuck where doing what, and how long Luke's training was. And it is kind of it kind of is hard to see how much time has passed, but I like it. It's more vague. Again, it kind of goes back to what I like so much about the original trilogy, is in that it leaves so much up to your imagination. They don't say, they don't give you a caption that says day 3 of training or day 17 of training.
2 weeks later. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they spent a lot more time.
Well, I've got to
I think
ask.
they spent a lot more time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I've got to ask Red 5 Mom. So I saw you in the chat. I want to say a couple weeks ago, but did you jump in on the old Star Wars Report community recently?
Actually, yes.
Oh, nice.
That and a lot of other podcasts. I discovered Star Wars podcasts when I went to my first celebration here in Anaheim in April.
Oh, nice.
I've never listened to any of them. I'm like, there's podcasts about Star Wars? Oh my God.
Oh, you better believe it.
So I've just been drinking them in.
There's 17 of them right on our own website.
There's so many. It's hard to keep up. But I
this
try.
This is such a weird theme, Bruce. I'm so used to being the new kid on the block here, and now we're having all these callers. It's like, well, I heard about you guys on Rebel Force Radio, 2 years ago, and then I'm just now realizing just how many people are jumping into fandom, which is awesome.
You are an old timer in the podcasting universe.
How is this a thing?
He is.
When did I? This is so weird.
I'm the new guy, but you've been on for like ever.
2000
in the podcasting unit. Yeah.
This feels so weird. All right. Well, I want to talk about the scene at hand for just a second before we let you go, Red 5 Mom, and that is when it comes to Yoda. Let's all talk about Yoda for a second, because my introduction, Yoda, Yoda, but no, seriously. When I was the first I ever was exposed to the character of Yoda, I was always seeing him on these badass marketing posters for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, right? And so I thought of Yoda as this badass warrior the entire time, whereas everyone who saw him in theaters back in 1980, he's just this weird Muppet-like character that you don't understand who he is and why he's here until like 20 minutes of the film.
Right.
Well, actually, I'll just throw out the question to anyone who wants to take this on. What do you think? Was Yoda as beloved when you first saw the film as he is now in the fan community, or was he kind of viewed as this kind of weirdo? Because you don't really get to see a serious side of Yoda other than a few brief moments.
I remember in 1980 that Yoda was like by far one of the most popular characters. He was beloved then as much as he is now.
You think so?
Sure.
The Oz effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and was it because of the Muppet Show? Like, did people just like him because of that, or do you think he transcended that already?
A little.
No,
of
I
both,
think he
really.
transcended.
I mean, there was that angle, like I said earlier, that the puppet scared the hell out of me. So it was the voice of Yoda that transcended that. Like, the puppet's got some limitations. You look at Yoda in the prequel trilogy, and he's not a creepy character, but you look at him in this, and he's got a Botox face. It's creepy, man.
He's younger.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do something with all that swamp life. You got to.
We're 900 years old. You use this much Botox. You will not.
Okay, all right now. That's hilarious. Well, it's funny is that
I loved seeing Yoda finally use his lightsaber, especially in Revenge of the Sith. That was like Yoda fighting with his lightsaber was awesome.
That was probably one of the.
And then on top of it, it's like you have that great moment. And you're like, yeah. And then the next movie comes out, and you're like, man, Yoda got punked.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe Yoda got turned into a chump. Like, but Yoda, powerful Jedi is he? Like, what? Like, but it was such a great moment to, Palpatine. You're like, ooh, Palpatine's so bad. He spanked Yoda and sent him off. Yoda's just gonna give up. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of pitiful in Revenge of the Sith and pitiful not in the lame sense, but pitiful in that he is to be pitied, and that they just woefully underestimated their adversary.
And here's the scene where Han gives scoundrels
and he
everywhere.
That he failed.
Oh, and yep, this is the Han.
You like
you
me
old
'cause I'm a
smoothie.
scoundrel. You need a scoundrel.
My
in your
hands
life.
are.
Everybody's like, I'm a scoundrel.
You know what's funny is that
Are you a scoundrel?
the dialogue in this movie, while great and far better than what's in the prequels, there's still some if it wasn't Harrison Ford, the line "My hands are dirty too" would sound awful, but he just nails it.
Yeah, if Hayden Christensen
I'm a nice
did,
man.
it would
Good
work.
job.
All right, so Bruce, what would Hayden Christensen sound like if he were saying the dialogue? So I'll be Leia. I'll be Leia, and you be Hayden Christensen as
And
Han Solo.
what he says something. My hands are dirty. Wait,
So she's gonna say I'm gonna say, my hands are dirty.
and I can't remember exactly what he says.
My hands are dirty too.
Oh yeah. Okay, do it again.
Take 2. This is the prequel version of Empire Strikes Back. Take 2. My hand's dirty.
My hands are dirty too.
The perfect amount of hesitation meets deadpan.
I
good.
love Hayden Christensen. Woo.
Well, let's give him credit. He was a lot better by the time of Revenge of the Sith. So there's that.
Yes. He did what he was supposed
Oh,
to do.
see you, Jeremy. I see it in the chat heading off. And I think it was The Last Disciple who pointed out that, going back to Yoda, he's doing this to test Luke's patience, and we know that in hindsight. And I part of me was wondering if that you don't really figure that out till Return of the Jedi or till later, upon closer viewing with the film. But it is probably obvious enough in the film itself. So. That's awesome. Well, Red 5 Mom, thanks so much for joining. We got another person waiting in the wings, so we'll let you go. But it's great to actually talk to you, and thanks so much for supporting us on Patreon. It means the world for sure.
Problem.
Look forward to hanging out with you more.
And
I'll be around.
Oh, and just as a bit of business for the Patreon side of things, I will be sending your mailing info to Mark, who will be getting the T-shirt printed ASAP.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
There we go. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Take care. May the force be with you.
There we go. Red 5 Mom. Thanks for calling in. We've had I think Mike's been waiting in the wings for a while. Here we go. Alrighty.
Well, I got a question for Mike then.
All right, so I'm gonna add him to the call here. Let's see. I've got to add him to I've got to add him to the contacts. Then I'm gonna add him to the call. So there we go. I'm gonna bring Mike into the live program here on StarWarsReport.com/live. Mike, are you there?
Hello.
Well, hello, sir. How's it going?
What's going on?
Just watching my favorite Star Wars movie ever with all of my Star Wars friends. How's it going for you?
It's going good.
In fact, it doesn't get much better. Right now I'm just forgetting about my paper that's due tomorrow at midnight, and I'm just having fun with the film.
I can't blame you there. I get tomorrow off from work, so I'm not complaining.
Nice.
That's good.
Well, sir, it is a pleasure to have you on the show, and we're going to kick it off like we always do with our callers, so you should probably be prepared by now. Your favorite scene from Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, it's probably the asteroid chase.
Yes.
Yes. That's my favorite too.
That's my impression of the John Williams. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Empire Strikes Back Theater with Riley Blanton.
My hands are dirty too.
That too. If this were a podcast episode, that would be the title. Oh man. All right, so Mike, I appreciate having you on, and again, I kind of apologize because it's not directly related to the movie here, but I keep wanting to ask everyone who calls in just because I like to get to know you guys. How did you hear about us here on the Star Wars Report?
Probably I met Bethany at Celebration. That was probably how I met you guys.
Was that at like the big podcaster meetup thing?
I don't know if it was at the podcast meetup or like one of the days later. I was hanging out with Mediocre Jedi, and then
nice.
him, and then we came across Bethany, and then while we were talking to Bethany, we came across
I'm gonna just start listing all of her friends: Teresa, Aaron, the Skywalking Through Neverland, Trisha Barr.
No, it was
I'm not helping, am I?
The lady who runs Celebration.
Mary Franklin. Yeah, Mary Franklin.
Yeah, Mary Franklin. That's it. Jeez, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I'm just realizing something here. I need to do a much better job about promoting what we do at Star Wars Celebrations because everyone's discovering us at Star Wars Celebrations. In fact, I'm going to call up the Air Force and see if they'll magically double my pay so that we can go to Celebration Europe because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, seriously. See if they could get you on that. I just did my press application for San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll see about that.
Oh, nice. Well, who are you with?
Nice. I'm going to go for Coffee with Kenobi.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I was just talking to those guys. We're going to be doing like a crossover thing after the new year. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, because I went to New York Comic Con as press for Coffee with Kenobi too.
Awesome. So you're one of their bloggers as well. I assume that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. I got to meet them briefly at Celebration. I'd love to do some more stuff with them, but that's awesome, man. Well, we are midway through Empire Strikes Back, and I'm going to look at our counter here and say, oh my goodness, we're about 3 minutes short of the halfway point of the movie. Think about that for a second. Oh, by the way, that's still. I'm not going to tell tales out of school, but I am. My sister, God bless her, who's very sick right now. Thoughts and prayers needed in all seriousness because she's got a lot of finals as well as me, but also strep throat. So that's why she's not available
Sick
to
enough
come.
that she won't come up here and strangle you when you say what you're about to say.
This is the only reason I'm courageous enough to do this, ladies and gentlemen, because to
Is
this
she in
day.
the chat?
To this day, I don't think so. No.
I haven't seen her yet.
No, if she was in the chat, he wouldn't be bringing this up.
Well, I see Star Wars report says I will cough in 3.
That's me.
And then 1.
Oh,
That's
are you getting sick too?
Someone was asking about the delay, so I gave him a 3, 2, 1 and cough. So
okay, all right. Mark is doing like breaking the. This is like breaking the fourth wall of podcasting with like talking and then chatting because it's about 30 seconds behind. But no, Bethany, and I'll not lie, me as well. I still jump every time we see the Minoc just jump into the view screen.
Yeah, I mean.
I love. By the way, I complimented the set design early in the movie. I take it all back in this scene because I love the clear tarp lining the ground here. It's not as noticeable here as it was in the old VHS version we used to watch growing up, but it is kind of noticeable here.
Oh, but Riley, that's not a clear tarp. That's the inside of the tongue.
Yeah, that's true. What were you saying, Mike?
The best thing about the Minocs is even in something like Star Wars, which is completely alien, those even feel like they're on steroids as far as the alien aspect of them,
Absolutely.
They're so creepy.
They are, and really well done. And it's one of those things that, man, there's a lot. In the lead up to The Force Awakens, I need to do like an extended podcast series about this, but my fandom, especially my appreciation for the original trilogy, and I think more open-mindedness towards some of the criticisms of the prequels and praise of the originals is tipping more and more in that scale. And I need to figure out a way to articulate it well, but like back in high school, especially when I was first getting online, I was that guy who was always super knee-jerk about really wanting to defend the prequels because I loved them so much as a kid. But I'm coming to appreciate a lot of the criticism, I think, more recently. And just watching this movie, yet again, every time I watch it, it just makes me appreciate how pitch perfect the pacing and the acting and the story is here.
Yeah, agree, definitely.
Man. In fact, I'm just going to turn this up.
This is a great figure sitting on my shelf, too, by the way. Dirty training Yoda, Luke, and R2.
I missed a great opportunity, gentlemen, in ROTC this semester as the physical fitness officer for my detachment. And that is do a Luke Skywalker.
What'd you do?
I should have done a Luke Skywalker workout from Dagobah style, where everyone had to wear the tank tops and have like
Put your tank top on.
Get the little Yoda backpack and then put rocks in it so that we all train.
So I did that for my scouts. We had an obstacle course, and they had to move pallets across this thing. So I'm like, they'd show up, and I'm like, "Welcome to Mustafar, where the Jedi go to die." And then I'm like, "Over here, you've got your prehistoric mag level carts back from the old Republic days before the Empire came and made them nice and sound. So if any of them fall apart, you will be docked sometime. And now you got to get across this lake of lava." And then, it was just a street, but they were all like, "Yeah, I'll get into it and stuff."
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
There's no why.
I like this scene because Yoda kind of implies that you can kind of see things through the Force into the past and into the future.
Yeah.
And it kind of alludes that Luke is picking up on Leia's training or torture, or not. Well, I guess it's Leia and Han, but he's picking up the torture from the future. And I always thought that was an interesting twist.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
Have you guys been reading the that Star Wars webcomic, the Korean one?
Wait, what is
they've
this?
been coming out.
I've caught bits and pieces of it.
What is
early
this?
on when they first started coming out with it and they started converting it.
I've not even heard of this.
Yeah, there's a free app you can download. It's called Line Webtoons, Line, and they've released the A New Hope series already in there at this scene currently in the Empire Strikes Back series, and it's just told through Luke's point of view. So
Nice.
It doesn't, you don't see anything on Cloud City till Luke gets there, and like it's got like 5 chapters just about him training with Yoda on Dagobah. It's really good.
That is awesome.
Nice.
If you don't mind, man, shoot me a link to that either here on Skype or probably actually the best is email if you want to do StarWarsReport@gmail.com because I want to read that. That would be amazing. And I'm just catching up in the chat on Twitch and I saw Degaz just made a Patreon pledge and makes you the man.
Yeah, sure.
Degaz,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You are the man. It's making me so happy. Oh, and then I see it was just put in the chat as well.
Somebody put the link in. Yeah.
There we go. There it is. Pulling it up now. That is awesome, man. It's funny because I've never really been much of a comics reader with the one exception of the Vader comic and I think the Tales comic is what they call them, the one with like the Darth Maul coming back before Clone Wars. I always watched those.
Yeah,
those
that
were,
was the Tales.
Those were always awesome. And I have behind me on the display right here. I'm going to hang it on. You guys are going to see it on Twitch and on a delay. But right here is the Heir to the Empire comic, #1. That's a pretty good one, too. But that one, and then I have an issue of Obsession, which that was good. Man. Here it is. I love this scene. Here we go.
Speaking of Tales comics in this scene, the one where they have this Dagobah scene, my wife actually took it. Here, I'll show you.
Alrighty.
Took it and actually made me a painting of the cover. I don't know. It'll take a second for you to actually see it, but I got it here. One of my favorite little things she did for me, and she absolutely hates it, but man, I love it. And it was a great comic too. When it turned the script, flipped it, turned it upside down, and we find out that Luke actually died on Hoth, and Leia ends up doing everything else. I always thought that was a real cool twist.
I never read that one, but I have to now. That's really cool. Man, it's going to be interesting because the only Marvel comic that's really grabbed me so far is the Vader comic, and now I'm behind and I need to catch up. But like the Leia
Dude, that
one,
Vader Down just started. Oh my gosh,
it's so good.
What is it? What is it called? Vader Down?
It's called Vader Down.
Vader
It is a
Down.
crossover right now. It's crossing over with all the singles, but if you get it in trade, it'll just be all collected. It is like 6 issues.
Can I do that on the Marvel?
Vader #1 came out, and then I think the second one was in the regular Star Wars, and Leia had the third one or something like that, or Vader had one. But it's all about Vader getting knocked out of his TIE fighter, and he gets crashed on the planet, and the rebels have him cornered.
Nice.
But how Vader gets knocked out of space combat and crashes onto the planet was brilliantly handled. I don't want to spoil it because when you find it out, you're like, that makes so much sense. It is so awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely turning into a must-read comic.
Yeah, it's insane.
I am.
It's Vader like at his prime.
I wonder, is that in the Marvel Comics app? I assume so.
Yeah. I think it's in its 3rd issue. So.
So this is where
should be almost.
I've actually been meaning to download that for some time, and I think I will do it right now on air.
What's odd about it is like, okay, yeah, it's a crossover, but if you're like me right now, I'm waiting to get all of my comics that I own in physical, so I'm waiting to get them in trade. So when I get it, it's not going to be a crossover; it's going to be a self-contained story.
Or what is
so
the best?
It's a really odd thing.
For anyone who does digital comics on the call or in the chat right now, and I'll pull it up and I'll kind of keep an eye on it. What is the best digital comics app? What's the best? Especially, I've got a little 7-inch Samsung tablet right here that I'm using.
I want to say Nate said the Marvel Unlimited app is now allowing you to read the Star Wars comics as well. And
so I've got Marvel Unlimited.
Overall, that's the best one for your dollar because it gives you a glimpse of a lot of Marvel's old backstock stuff.
Yeah,
So-
they're in there. I just subscribed this past weekend. And
How much
downloaded
is
the
it?
app.
How much is it per month for Marvel Unlimited?
I think it's $45 for a year, so I don't know about how much
Yeah.
it is a month.
Yeesh, that's
I
kind
think
of
they're running
steep
a special
though.
at $9.95 a month right now. I think.
See, that's a little too steep for me just because I don't read them regularly enough. But then there's Comixology as well, which I think that's the one I'm going to download because I can buy individual issues. Which is probably what I'll end up doing.
Because what I do is I just
which I'm doing right now.
Get the physical issues, and then they come with a download code where you can port them into your Marvel app. So that's all I do.
Oh, nice, nice.
See, that's what Nathan does for me for Beyond the Films. He'll give me his digital code when he gets his physicals.
Yep.
So I've got the digital one that if we're recording that week, I can do it. But see, I still want to have it in my hand. Like he's got one of those iPads. So when he's reading them, it feels like a real comic for him. And I'm like on my little smartphone, I'm like zooming in. I'm like, I got to get this in the physical, man. So I I go out and I buy it in the physical anyway. And I feel like I'm doing my part to help Star Wars back. You know, when I get free review copies and stuff and I don't pay for it, I'm paying for this, and even though I already have the content and I'm paying for it again, but I feel like, hey, it's kind of, my part to give back.
Absolutely, Mark. So I'm adjusting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I read the comics on iPad, but I would say the best experience is sitting down. If you have a big monitor on your PC, sitting down at your desk or with a big monitor and bringing that up, it's almost like a movie feel when you're reading the comics. Because you zoom in on
and
those
Nate had
panels
pointed
and they're
that
nice
out
and
at a
big.
podcast.
Nice.
I was like, wait, it runs on your computer?
Yeah.
And I felt so
really
stupid.
nice.
So I just finally actually placed the webcam to where now when I on top of the monitor that I actually use, because now when I look at you guys, it won't look kind of super weird like I'm off to the side. So there we go. Now we're coming up on Red 5 Mom's favorite scene. All right, I'll give it a try. No. Do. Sorry, I need to warm up. There we go.
Do or do not. There's no try. Yes.
That's my Yoda impression. He's trying. It's going up slowly. Oh, the eyes are going wide. Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Look how muscular. Look at the muscles on that man. Oh, good Lord. Ugh.
And still he can't do it. Darn.
He's flexing though. Like if flexing your biceps was the Force, that thing would have popped out of that swamp faster than you can say Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Judge me by my size, do you?
Judge me by my size, do you? He says. There we go.
No, judge me by my sides, do you? Look how well I'm ripped and chiseled.
Judge me by my abs, do you? Man, Mark Hamill is in really good shape.
Six-pack I have.
When 900 years old you reach, have as many abs you will not. All right. And I think on that note, Mike, we'll let you go and we'll open up the lines for some other folks as well. So I appreciate you calling in, man, and for listening and supporting us.
Talking to you guys.
Absolutely. And I believe you're one of our mail outs for the iTunes reviews. So I think expect that coming very soon, because I think I've been mailing out so many packages I don't remember. If not, keep an eye on Twitter, because I'm announcing one last giveaway for the final week of Star Wars Tonight. The nightly podcast. Keep an eye on Twitter, because we're doing giveaways for those of you who are getting out the word. So we will talk to you soon.
I've been listening to that. I listen to that every time I play Battlefront every night.
Oh, nice. Absolutely. Awesome. All right, we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, see you guys.
Before we bring on...
Bye-bye.
Take care, man. Before we bring on our next caller, I want to pose a question to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yoda talks about the Force penetrating everything and being everything. Life creates it, surrounds us, binds us, blah, 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 blah. And then he mentions it being in the tree, being in the rock. And, the rock is the one that really gets me, because, a tree, that's living. But a rock is an inanimate object. And,
I wonder why
Okay, so does that then mean that droids also are just as force sensitive as the rock and everything else is? Because there's no metachlorians in a rock, right?
I feel like that would be an intentional choice. Lee Brackett's treatment of Empire was much more mystical, and we were talking about how this film is kind of more mystical. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like to think that the Force is not within, but a part of every environment. So I don't think it inhabits it in the same way it would a human or alien, but I think Yoda's point is that it's everywhere.
So do you think maybe in this case then it's something that's subatomic? It's in atoms maybe? Because metachlorians, they live in the cell. They allow a human body to communicate with the Force, or not just a human body, but it allows the Jedi to communicate with it. But that's still a mystical thing, even though it's got living ties. That's always been the one thing that has always weirded me out, because Legends would play with it where you would have certain Jedi or certain Force users that could control droids, that could do certain things that had less to do with the living. And I always, use that line that Yoda threw out there as the reason why that always kind of made sense. I believe it was Eric Isinger or something like that, he was the one that was using the Force through the wires of the droids and could control the droids that way.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting thing. But yeah, Yoda does a lot of heavy dropping of things. And then now when you consider the prequel trilogy and the things that we know now based off of watching that and knowing the stuff that he leaves out, only because we didn't know that those were going to be made then, but now it gives us great opportunity for future stories that are being told in the prequel trilogy and in the dark time stuff, where they can really build on those kind of things. Why did Yoda stay quiet about this? Why didn't Yoda say something about that? What did he mean by Last of the Jedi, when you've got these other people out there that Yoda's felt through connections to temples and things like that?
That's a good question. Your thoughts, Bruce?
Boy, you just blew me away with all that. That was a lot you just went through.
That's why I threw it to you, Bruce.
I ponder a lot.
I'm trying to put. I think of you as Mr. Ponder guy. I don't know.
Accurate. Accurately so.
I don't know.
I'm busy here setting up my. I'm busy here, gentlemen, setting up my Comixology account.
Maybe the answer is in the comics.
Well, I'll find out. I agree to the terms of service from Amazon. When did Amazon buy Comixology?
I think about a year
while
ago.
back. Yeah. Yep. And if you ever get ACV, I've got some Walking Dead files I can send you.
Okay. don't be. Okay. We'll keep it secret, keep it safe. All right. Well, there we go. I wonder what the I'm going to search Comixology for
the Lando system.
Star Wars
system. He's a man, baby.
Lando's not a man. He's a man.
He's a chocolate
you old smoothie. By the way, it's
smooth man.
Just by the way,
like
folks,
cocoa.
Get ready for absolutely unapologetic Lando Lando impressions and Lando gushing and Lando craziness. It T-minus 5 minutes. Just so that you've
really
been
quick.
warned.
The Falcon on the back of the Star Destroyer. That was probably one of the coolest, brilliantest things I've ever seen in a space-type film at that point. I never, space is infinite going in any direction, but you never think about that fact, because usually when you see a spaceship, it's traveling, right side up. We don't see them traveling upside down usually. And seeing the Falcon on the back of that thing like that, it's like, oh yeah, you can do anything in space. That's pretty cool, Han. Is that a modification or did it come stock like that?
All right, guys. What?
Because your thought is it's sticking, but it's not sticking. It just landed.
I need some help. Everybody in the chat right now. I need your help right now. What comic should I buy now? Like, especially that's currently
Vader down.
Vader down. You think?
Vader down.
Okay.
Vader down. No question about it. Granted, it's not all out right now, but Kanan's good too. I like that one as well. But
I like Blessed Cheesemaker in the chat. Amazon owes anything good, anything to do with books. It's kind of true. Let's be honest. Oh man, let's see here. Yeah, they do own Goodreads, Audible, Comixology. They own all kinds of stuff. Sorry, Brucey, what were you saying? What was your suggestion?
What, on a comic?
Yes.
I don't even know what I said a minute ago. I'm like dying right now, asleep. No. The comic. Listen, this is what I think. I think you should start with Star Wars #1 and start working through that series.
You think so? Is it
Yes.
good?
I liked it. I loved it.
It is good. It is a good one, man.
So is this Star Wars?
I'm not going to say there's really good. The only one.
So there's a collected.
It's great because I think it's a great bridge from A New Hope to The Empire Strikes Back. Mark was talking about earlier. I think it's a great start.
So they have Star Wars.
Yeah,
They have the entire volume.
There might be
volume
1.
Skywalker Strikes.
Yeah. And it goes good with the Vader Volume 1 too. So far,
wow,
the one I would say to avoid would be Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really add much to what's going on, unless they decide to bring Alderaan survivors into the sequel trilogy down the road. I don't see it really factoring much. But like I said, I really liked Kanan. Me and Nathan were kind of talking about that because we're going to be recording Kanan right after this for Beyond the Films. And he didn't really, he was more like, oh, it could have been any character. We only care because it's Kanan. And I'm like, dude, but that's what makes it awesome. Like, I'm invested in Kanan in Rebels. I really like the character. And so getting the backstory of where he was at Order 66 and to how he got to that point, they haven't filled it all in yet, but they're telling the story in flashback. So it's like you're getting a prequel story while it's set in the Dark Times era. And it's really cool the way it's fleshing out so far as well. But I mean, if I had to say one, if you only had one single series as of right now to do, that Vader Down is just.
Well, I might do that because
know anything about anything else, and it's just action packed from issue 1 on.
Yeah, and I might do that just because it's Stay on Target 42 was saying Kanan, which is a good option as well. I've heard really good things about that. But Kenny Crowley's saying Vader Down. See, and I don't think I want to drop the $20 right now for the whole volume of Star Wars. So I'm gonna search for. So it's down to Vader Down. Although I'm kind of tempted to go for Kanan too. But let's see. Vader.
You should splurge and just do both.
I've already splurged enough today,
my,
sir.
My Cloud City Casino, sitting in the middle of Cloud City over here on the bookshelf, is one of my favorite Taco Bell toys from '97. It's got the little magnet and it sits on the thing like it's floating. It's so cool. And now I'm always I pretend like I'm Hank Pym and I've got Bruce and Michael shrunk down inside there. I'm like, oh,
yeah, and for
turbulence.
those of you who don't know what he's talking about the podcast Cloud City Casino, part of Star Wars Report Network here, and we've got Michael and me on that podcast. That's what we're talking about, right? Cloud City Casino podcast.
Available now on iTunes. Yep. Cloud City Casino, your favorite Star Wars gaming and collecting podcast.
And the official gaming and collecting podcast of StarWarsReport.com/ Second Airborne Division Podcast.
So I have Star Wars Vader Down #1 for $5. It is 30 pages, and I'm going to buy it right now, gentlemen.
Okay, but wait till after the show to read it.
Okay, I won't read it on air here, but I have now officially purchased. Oh, it says I don't have my payment info. Come on, you're supposed to strip it from my Amazon account. All right, I can't.
Double-crossing, no good swindler. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, guys. I want to see more of their backstory fleshed out. I know it's great to keep some things mysterious, but in this case, I think that would be some gold. I think it's the type of gold that's along the lines of certain Kanan and Rex banter, or Ezra and Kanan banter, or Zeb and Kanan, or Zeb and Ezra. Any of those type of banters, I think that would be just as fun.
Oh, Kenny Crowley was saying Vader Down will be collected with Star Wars Volume 3 in April. Interesting. Well, I might just splurge for both. I'll kind of get in that world now that I can actually do so. But right now I'm going to pull up Twitch right on my account so that I can follow along in the chat on my tablet. But you know who's on screen right now, gentlemen?
Lobot and Lando.
Lando freaking Calrissian, the coolest cat this side of the Outer Rim. You old smoothie.
Is Lobot a cyborg?
I don't think so. He's just a DJ. Hello, what have we here? I'm Lando Calrissian. I'm the most awesome character in this entire movie. That's right.
Yeah, but where's his puffer pig? That's what I want to see.
Good God, man. You and that puffer
ate
pig.
It for puffer bacon. No, but I mean, seriously, if Lobot's an android, what does C-3PO mean when he says he's fluent in human cyborg, stuff? I was like, wait, shouldn't you be interfacing with Lobot over in the corner and just, why are you wasting Lando's time and wasting his ear space? Just plug into Lobot and tell him what you need to tell him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is where the film really kind of picks up its darker tones right here when C-3PO gets taken out. That's really, I think, the first time we know.
Great Legends opportunity too, where Vader, the hands of the Maker, or whatever it was, the Maker, where he's holding 3PO's head and thinking back on it.
Oh,
So sad.
I've got Daniel. I'm going to add him to the group call here.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello. I'm the administrator of this facility. How's it going, Daniel?
Yo, I actually was thinking about what Mark was just saying about the backstory of Han and Lando, and about the new film that they're going to be creating for Han.
Mm-hmm.
And I had such an idea. I wish when they do this movie, it's how Han and Chewie meet and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I want the end of the movie to be where they walk into some space casino, and they're going there to get some R&R, and in the back scene of a viewport, you see the Millennium Falcon docked, and as they're walking into the casino floor, who else do they see in a dark corner saying, "You guys like to play a game?" Nothing but Lando Calrissian, and
nice.
Boom, end movie.
Awesome.
That
See, you
that would
could do
be
that
great.
either way too. You could do that as the intro too, and have them. The whole movie could be their first trip with the Falcon, their first adventure, kind of thing. And you could have Han, tell about how he freed Chewie or got Chewie to be his life debt and stuff, as something that's told in a flashback in a later point, and then do the same thing. Either way, though, that's a brilliant angle, and I think that a lot of fans would love to see that.
Absolutely.
How old is Han going to be in this movie, though? I mean, is he a kid or is he older?
I guess you would say he's entering his, early. He was in his early 20s, right?
Yeah, you're talking about the recent rumor for the second spin-off film. Everyone's now trying out to be the young Han Solo role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that movie could be, the meeting of Han and Chewie, but you end it off with that dripping teaser where it's they meet Lando right at the end, and it's boom, the story of how he gets the Falcon. He beats him in the game of Sabacc.
Nice.
Why do you need to tell it when you already know? You leave that right at the end, and it's just boom, he gets the Falcon, and that's how the dynamic duo begins.
Daniel, there's one.
And he gets into the cockpit and he says, "Okay, how do we fly this thing?" And that's how it ends.
Well, no, because Bruce, we are missing one other very important key piece.
Ooh.
What
is that?
He's just and also, where's my puffer pig?
Yeah, thank you.
What if the clothes that Han wears now were actually in the Falcon? So Lando actually never stole them. They were always in there to begin with.
What? So they're Lando Calrissian's clothes. Boom.
They were always Lando's clothes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the sound of Riley's head exploding right now.
I just had to call in and just give my 2 cents on that, guys. Enjoy the rest of the movie, and I'll talk to you guys later sometime.
Absolutely, man. All right, we'll talk to you soon, Daniel. Man, this is too much fun. Wow.
And there's one of Leia's classic looks that we just don't have enough action figures of. Everybody's calling up and complaining about Slave Leia. Let's complain about the lack of figures we have for her. Let's not talk about the one that we have 1,000 of. Let's talk about the lack.
That's true enough. True enough. Oh man, I'm just realizing
what is Chewie saying in this scene? This is one of my favorite moments too. I could just imagine.
Shut up, you little pigs! This is my drop. It's mine. Mine.
That's my draw.
This is Chewbacca's Yoda moment. Mine.
They should put beeps in there. Then like he's cussing through the scene.
I've often thought about doing a commentary where we all pick an alien that doesn't have any vocal dialogue and just put in our own little 2 cents and see how the scenes play out.
That would be hilarious.
Those Yoda, the R2D2 ones where they're like, where he's doing the, I don't know, I'm just flying the ship.
Blessed Cheesemaker in the chat.
Such a smart aleck.
Blessed Cheesemaker in the chat's like, this should be the standard captain of the Falcon ship, which is just so that, ladies and gentlemen, this means it's a matter of time until we see Rey in the vest and white shirt. Which, by the way,
it should be a matter of time before we get Blessed Cheesemaker in on this too.
That's true. That's true. Actually, I think I see a note on Skype. I'll make sure that I'm not missing out on anybody. Oh, we do have someone else on the chat. Absolutely. I'm going to add him to the group call now. It's Anthony, who should be picking up any moment to talk about, well, you guys know what I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him what his favorite scene in
Ask
Empire
him
Strikes
about
Back.
monkey goat cheese.
Absolutely. Anthony, you with us? Yeah. Sounds like
Samsonite missed him by that much.
yeah, it sounds like an audio issue, Anthony, if you can hear us, just to make sure that you're correct microphone selecting everything, and then shoot me a note on Skype when you think you're ready to go, and I'll bring you into the call.
I just made a deal with the Empire that's going to keep him out of here for a long time. Lord Vader wanted to have a Han Solo skinned rug. I said, okay, you could even have a Wookiee one to go with it for your toilet.
But Lord Vader was all like, but it's got to be a dinner party, too, because that's...
I love the troopers, dude. They're doing like a power pose.
Can you imagine? I feel like that's the moment that we got to get started on a musical number with all the stormtroopers dancing and Boba Fett is the lead singer.
One
It's
of
just
them
like
pulls out the little triangle. Ding!
ba ba da ba bow.
We're like the Rockettes of Cloud City.
Yes. Yes, a million times, yes. Oh, man.
I like that Luke has to calm down R2. Hang on, we're almost there. It's like, tell him to go to sleep. He's a droid.
I think I heard Anthony.
I think so too. Is he there still?
Anthony?
Can you hear me?
There we go. How are you? How are you, good sir?
I think I kept hitting the mute button.
Ah, no, I hear you, man. Believe me, there are many times on the podcast myself when I used to use the ones that had the physical mute buttons on my mic. Mark knows this. I'll have my most salient point ever after an audio clip that I play, and it'll just be like, nothing. It's just me talking and absolutely nothing. So I
I'm that
hear
way
you.
with my phone when it comes to videoing. You
Yep.
know, we were up at camp and there was this little bunny rabbit that got like within 2 feet of me, and I'm videoing him and I'm talking to him and I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Bunny Rabbit, you're pretty cute, aren't you?" And he lunged at me, "Oh, you're rabbit," and then he'd get away and we were having this great conversation. And I'm like, "Yeah, I got it all," and then I hit the button to stop it and it starts ticking off.
It
numbers.
starts
No!
recording. No. All right. So Anthony, you know what I'm going to ask? Your favorite scene from Empire Strikes Back. Ladies and gentlemen, live on
Phantom Menace.
Okay, all right. Nicely played, sir. But your favorite scene, seriously, from Empire Strikes Back.
I just love anything here on Cloud City. It's just so beautiful.
This scene right
clouds
now where you can see Harrison Ford being tortured to death. It's great. It's beautiful.
No.
Actually, Cloud City is
I'm
pretty
not.
cool.
I'm blanking on his name. Who's the one that loves the torture scene here? Carl.
Oh yeah, Carl. I forgot about that. Yeah, Carl from the Wampa's Lair podcast is kind of a.
I'll let him keep that as his.
He's
favorite.
kind of a masochist, just a little bit, just a little uncomfortably.
And he talks about it every episode too.
He kind of does.
Well, he talks about it like he's a father. I mean, that's like, I have a resonation with Vader. Like, yeah, torture that guy.
Okay.
Go for your kid, man.
Mark, you're trespassing
Take
on.
it to level 10.
You're trespassing now on Carl's territory. He's supposed to be the creepy guy on this subject. No, that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, Cloud City's good is pretty interesting because it contrasts so much with like the beautiful hallways and the pristine living quarters that you see. But it contrasts that with you walk through one door and you see the absolute what's the word I'm looking for? Industrial decay of the city, and you see like the Ugnaughts all working behind the scenes. So it's sort of like you get this sense, man, this is kind of the first time I'm thinking about it, but visually you get this sense of like this huge aristocracy of everyone living high on the profits of whatever the gas planet is, and then you have all
kind
the
of a real echo.
an
Kind
echo.
of a real echo of what you see in Coruscant later.
That's so true. That's so true.
Mobile Coruscant.
I just now figured. I just now had a. This happens every freaking time we do one of these movies, man. Something I realized that I never thought about before about a Star Wars movie. It happens every time. I love it. That is awesome. That's a good one. Man.
I just want to know why they have the prison cells with speakers that play loud, blaring sounds. Like, whose idea was that? And where was like a species rights group out there going, no, you can't do that. That's not right. That's mean.
This is true. This is true. Man, this is one of the scenes that I'll never forget because I remember distinctly when we first watched it. This was I was so engrossed and worried for our heroes, and I remember my dad and sister just laughing out loud because of how resilient Han Solo is. And at the time I was kind of irritated. I'm like, stop laughing at him. He was just tortured. But the humor of the scene is right here when they still share a kind of tender moment where she says, "You certainly have a way with people," and that's kind of what got the laughter. And at that point, I was all serious about it, but they were kind of laughing, which I think is kind of funny.
You're like, stop laughing! It's not supposed to be funny.
Oh, and reference.
Here's the second darkest scene in the film. Dun dun
dum dum dum.
What are you gonna do with that pit of dry ice?
Lord Vader,
Put Han Solo in there.
Luke Skywalker's just landed, my lord. This is the only guy who doesn't have a British accent. The only Imperial officer. I'll turn it up later, but it's going to be right.
Damaged. We will test it on Captain Solo.
He's no good to me dead.
Trust me, during the Clone Wars, we used it on a Sith Lord's brother once.
Oh, Anthony, so can I indulge you as well? How did you first hear about Star Wars Report stuff?
I'm pretty sure. Well, I'll go the whole. I don't really remember. I think I got hooked into Clone Wars, and then just randomly typed Clone Wars podcast in, and the first one that comes up is Michael Cohen.
Michael James Thaddeus Cohen, I believe is his full name. Yes, I'm.
and so I binged through that to catch up to where I think it was like the end of season. It was the one where Ahsoka gets kidnapped by the. What are the Trandoshans?
Yes.
And
yes, that's into season 3.
By Chewie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And right through there, and then I was listening to him up through. Which was the first celebration that he had his panel at? I think he had you and Steve and.
Yep.
He had Matt call in, and through that I got hooked onto Steve with. I binged through Smallville that fall, and
nice.
Through that went back and listened to the Steve Shoe podcast, and then heard about Geek Out Loud through that, and went back through all of his archives and heard the one where you guys were first on Geek Out Loud.
The one that I used.
Hey, there's these young kids my age that are actually doing podcasting. This is cool, so I'll go check them out. So then I went back through your whole archive and listened up through present day.
Nice. That's actually that episode.
They got this old fogey with them. It was a trick.
That episode of Geek Out Loud was we were in studio in person the first time, and I pulled the audio from the promo of Star Wars Tonight from that appearance. Okay. So when you hear Steve just say the carbon freezing chamber, and then start poking fun of himself for how Southern he says, the carbon freeze. Hey y'all. Let's put him in the carbon freezing chamber, which is actually very... I feel now terrible that I'm doing this riff right now while he's actually being frozen in carbonite as we watch this movie. But that's where that audio comes from. Man, I will say this, though, about this scene. This is the most emotionally charged and most moving scene in all of Star Wars for me, with one exception, and that was Order 66. But with that exception, this is the most emotionally charged and the most moved I've ever been watching a Star Wars movie. I cried.
I have to ask, which is more moving for you? When Han tells Chewie, "Don't fight. I'm not ready to die. It'll be okay. You got to look after the princess." Or when they have the "I love you, I know," because there's a bromance there that's equally as powerful as the Han and Leia.
For me, it was the "I love you, I know," because I'm a. What can I say? I'm a romantic. He said.
Yeah, that's what Teresa was saying last night about you being such a romantic. And, I would say
I saw your profile
that,
too on that Disney match site.
Yeah, how's that working? Did you find a Disney girlfriend?
Still working on it. Okay. Wait.
All
Wait.
right.
You
Well,
saw
I heard
my.
they assigned you your own fairy godmother, so you'll be okay.
And Donald Duck is on there saying he doesn't have pants. But let me just say this, Mark. I think the Chewbacca and Han exchange is more powerful to me than the "I know, love you, I know."
You think so?
Nice.
Yeah, that one works more emotionally for me than the Han Leia scene.
Yeah.
It reminds me of in was it Braveheart, where the wife, was it Braveheart? I was thinking it was Braveheart. Yeah, where the husband, the guy claims to claim the right of prima nocta, and the guy's like fighting him off, and she holds his hand and stops him, and is like, "No, I don't want you to die for this," because that's what I thought was cool. It's like Chewie's ready to throw down. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that he's got a droid on his back. He's outnumbered. There's a Sith Lord in front of him. He's ready to go down for Han. That is a life debt, and that's some powerful stuff, man.
It is. That is. I mean, it is a very emotionally charged scene. And it is something that I think Luke feels kind of guilty that he wasn't there to help, and here he is.
And the lighting, man. Whew.
I always got so upset that he got separated from R2 here. Oh, wait. We have right here Jeremy Bullock about to make his appearance. All right, Anthony, thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to...
I have one more question.
Oh, sure thing.
Sweet.
Do any of you guys read the Blue Milk Special comic?
I do not. I'm not familiar with it, actually.
It's like a free webcomic. It's bluemilkspecial.com or something. It can be a little risque sometimes, but they have some good humor in
Well,
there.
then, if you would please then send me the link, sir. He said risque, and Riley's all in. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, by all means, shoot me a link, StarWarsReport@gmail.com, and I will definitely do that.
Okay. Yeah, I have no connection with it or anything, but the one upcoming scene where Luke and Vader have the big showdown in the freezing chamber there, and Luke walks in, and there's like the big tense moment, and all of a sudden Darth Vader appears, and there's like a whole big page of him breathing really fast, and I've never held my breath for that long before. Let me catch my breath here for a minute.
That's so true. That's funny.
I know, it's hilarious.
That is hilarious. All right, Anthony, thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it. I've got Kenny Crawley on the giving us some calls, so I'm going to get him on next, and we are rolling through this film. We're in the last act. It's hard to believe. Crazy.
We're almost to the part that actually ties into The Force Awakens. How did that saber go from that hand to that hand?
Exactly. All right, we'll talk to you soon, Anthony. Thanks so much for listening in and your support.
See ya.
Bye-bye. All right, Kenny Crowley is giving us a couple calls, so we're going to bring him on the line real quick. I want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity, so I am going to add him to the group call here and see if he picks up. Mr. Kenny Crowley Jr. Is that you on the line?
Guys.
Hey, Kenny.
Sure can. How's it going?
Going good, guys.
All right, real quick, you know the drill. Favorite scene from Empire Strikes Back? It's a tough one. It is. I can give you a hint though if you want. You can just go for the one right now because this one's pretty darn awesome.
I have to agree with that one. Also, when Yoda is talking about the Force to Luke, I think that's also a good scene.
Yes, that is a good one. That's I really feel like we get a better picture for the Force in that scene than we do in the one where Obi-Wan explains it. It surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together. Oh, I love this scene too. There's still time to save it. There's still time to save it. I can't hear him.
Help us!
I think he's trying to say. I think he's trying to say, Han. Han.
Oh, no, I'm mistaken. He's saying hand. Oh, like he needs a hand. Leia, give him a hand. The Wookiee is choking him to death.
Yay!
Oh,
Applause.
He's only a Wookiee. Yeah, you know, they're known to rip your arms off. Be happy. Your head's still attached.
Oh, man. Well, Kenny, thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate you coming on and all your support and tuning in live and everything. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I want to get a question in before I leave.
Sure thing. Go for it.
Yeah, I've liked most of the new canon stuff, but I have a few suggestions that might help.
Okay. Well, I'm open, especially with my Comixology app now, for comic suggestions.
I mean, I know most of the stories have been fleshed out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that Obi-Wan Anakin comic series.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's going to be interesting. That's not out yet, though, is it?
No, I think it's out. I think it's
January.
early February.
Nice.
January.
Yeah, February, January, right in the beginning of the next year.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's good.
So,
well, what you got to watch out for right now is Marvel pushes a lot of titles back. So you'll get a date, and then as you get closer to that date, you find out, oh, it got bumped a week. And it's not like they'll give you an announcement all the time. Sometimes, you know, it'll be like 2 weeks late, and then they're like, oh, and by the way, it's pushed back. Like, oh, so that's why it didn't go into my box? Okay.
yeah. No, I could see that.
And I think we're going to get some much more fleshed out stories in the Obi-Wan Anakin comic than we did in Legends. I mean, I like Legends and canon equally, but a lot of the stuff they talked about Obi-Wan and Anakin and Legends in that era, I just wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Well, Kenny, do you have? Well, I got to ask you then. Before we go, do you have a recommendation on comics, for that are already out by any chance? So,
well,
I'm an impatient man. I'll be honest.
Well, I could recommend the current Star Wars series, Kanan.
Yes.
Darth Vader. Vader Down, which is out.
Yeah, those are
And
all
also,
good.
Some of the comic adaptations of the movies, I think, are also pretty good.
You know, I've never read those, but I should. I really need to. I had a friend in high school who had them all, but I never actually got around to them. But I think between there's the Kanan and Vader Down are kind of the two I'm looking at. And honestly, because it's like new, I might just go for Vader Down, and because it's I'm hearing good things about it. So I got to do that and also catch up on Vader. So I've got lots of work to do, man. But it's work that I like to do.
I'm still behind 2 novels. I still gotta get a Battlefront Twilight Company novel. I still gotta get Lost Stars.
Oh, believe me, I'm behind in all the novels. So there's that.
There's just so much out. It's hard to keep track.
It sure is. It's crazy, but you know,
But Kenny, have you read How Star Wars Conquered the Universe?
That's.
I have not read. I've heard good things.
Dear
about
God, somebody in the chat right now tell me that they've read this book, because this is beginning to get very uncomfortable. Okay. All right.
He didn't ask for the truth, so.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. All right, Kenny, thanks so much for calling in and supporting us and listening all the time. And you're always shooting us nice tweets after we release the shows and stuff. We really appreciate your encouragement for sure.
All right.
Take care, bud.
Bye-bye.
Always.
Kenny Crowley Jr. Thanks so much for calling in, man. Well, I feel like we've gotten everyone on who wanted to. Oh wait, now we have more. I may have spoken too soon. So
Palpatine.
Go for Papa Palpatine. So, Mark, I hear that you may have to bail a few minutes early. What is this?
Yeah. Well, I thought the timing was gonna be enough so that we would get done with this before I had to do the Beyond the Films recording, which starts in about 5 minutes or so, give or take a call from Nathan. So we'll see. We might get to the end because we are pretty close.
I mean, what would happen if I called Nathan Butler right now?
I think you should.
That's a good question.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna go to Skype. Nathan, you know, it's been freaking forever since I had Nathan on. And I'm fixing it right now. I'm literally just calling Nathan Butler right now. He looks.
That's a problem.
His avatar looks surprised that I'm calling him. Right? Look at that. Look at that, gentlemen. You can see that on the video version. That's the surprised Nathan Butler, and he's just gonna be like, "Who's calling?" And I mean, it looks like he may, and he does not answer.
He's like, I'm
who is
about
this?
to start recording. I don't know what he's doing.
Who is this weirdo? Well, once he shoots you a note, Mark, I'm gonna bring him in, and we'll cap it off. We'll all cap it off together. So that way, if he bugs you that says, "Hey, we need to be recording Beyond the Films," just say, "All right, I'm calling you," and then I'll call him.
That might be him now.
Oh, yeah. I just saw in the chat.
He's questioning in the chat. What's going on?
Do not. There's
What's
not. Tell him to answer his freaking phone / Skype thing. That's what I need you to do because I don't have access to the chat. But Mark, tell him to pick up. Tell him to pick up right now.
Guys, just waiting for Mark and Nate.
Seriously, tell him to pick up. I'm gonna add him again.
Answer while you wait.
Answer
what he says.
He has no clue what we're doing. Let's be honest. Nathan's probably kind of wise to be hesitant about picking up the phone with us because he's like, who are these monkeys calling me?
He's been a great guest on Cloud City Casino that is part of the Second Airborne division of podcasts here on StarWarsReport.com.
Available now on iTunes.
It is.
Cloud City Casino, your collecting and gaming podcast of choice. Available now at Star Wars Report.
Complete with Star Wars Tonight.
Absolutely. All right, so
Which is a great show.
So is Nathan going to join us? Oh.
I think Jonathan's just hopping on, so I think he's going to hold out. It's like, no, man, I got commitments.
He says, not in a position to do so.
Not in a position. I'm not in a position to position his
What
position.
do you have to be in to be on Skype?
It's a very specific.
This is true.
It's
like,
a very specific position.
And getting the show notes ready right now, so I mean, like, I've got a leg in two different sides of the river right now.
Oh me. All right. Well, let's cap off this movie nicely. I'm gonna pull up the thing so I can actually have control of the volume as we watch the last part.
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan.
And James Earl Jones here is just so good. Oh!
The Force Awakens.
Snap. Where did that lightsaber go, guys? Like, what could possibly have happened?
It fell into a vortex of space, time, and the Force.
Indeed it did.
I see it in your eyes.
I know your eyes. I can't wait for that movie.
End this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
I'll never join you.
If you only knew the power.
Oh, this is so good.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
Yes, now I can rule the galaxy by your side. Take me home, Daddy.
Destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this. It is your destiny.
I think that that may have lasted the entire delay. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Come with me. It is the only way.
I was gonna say I remember on the VHS version we had the yell being there.
Yep.
Where it's just like
because it wasn't there originally. Then they put it in and they took it out again.
Whee! Oh, it looks like we're all good here. At least I made it out. We look safe, and we're gonna make it out. Just barely escaped with my life. Oh crap! Worst luck in the world, man. And was that his lightsaber going down there?
Yeah, like the toilet, it was flushed.
Mm-hmm. Well, if only Vader had someone to finish what he started. There's been an awakening. You know what? After watching this film, guys, it's making me think more and more about how I really do want to see. I really want to see more mysticism in The Force Awakens, which I'm optimistic about with the whole first trailer of there's been an awakening. I really hope like the Force has been dormant. That would be cool. Like people don't really even believe it exists anymore. Yeah, the yell was the 1997 version, Kenny Crowley saying in the chat. So true. Test out that's right. Blessed Cheesemaker in the chat. Somebody's like, let's test out the garbage disposal button. Make sure it's working. Bloop! No! Leia. This is the first time we get the idea that
We've got to go back.
Leia might be the other one. She's Force sensitive. And I love the fact that she's piloting. People don't give her credit, but yeah, she totally piloted the Falcon here. And look at that loop-de-loop. That's some skills right there.
Let my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival.
I really feel like I need to see the pre-1997 edition because of the dialogue there. Alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival, because I've never seen the other version, and that's one of the big changes I hear people complain a lot about.
Go down and look it under. Time to open the top hatch.
Wow, Bruce, we are pretty much still in perfect sync. I love it.
Okay. Easy, Chewie.
I think Carrie Fisher's best acting by far comes in Empire.
Lando?
Okay, let's go.
And we get a little taste of a chase here at the end with the TIE fighters, so that we get a little bit of excitement, because all the movies you want to have at least a little bit of space battle action at the end, but it's very understated compared to Star Wars or Return of the Jedi. And in fact, it's not even really that much of a battle. It's just them escaping, and instead of a climax to the film about about a big space battle, it's emotional. It's about the characters. Where we're going to see here in a second, it's like son, father.
You know, I was thinking the other day, seeing scenes or clips from The Force Awakens. There's a lot of battles in atmosphere and not in space, and I think this is the first scene we actually see TIE fighters in atmosphere, not in space. Was it around Bespin? I think
That's true.
Is
That's
that right?
true. I think so.
I think you are right.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I gotta bail. It's been fun. Wish I could have made it to the very end, but I've got to do 2 more episodes of Beyond the Films.
I hear you,
You're
man.
Bail?
Tell
You're Bail Organa?
I'm Bail Organaing.
I gotta. All right, Mark. We'll see you soon. And also tell. I have a special message for Nathan Butler. He's a bum. Tell him that for us. No.
All right, take care,
Seriously,
guys.
we'll get him on soon. Let him know, Mark, and we'll talk.
Yes.
We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, you know what this means, Bruce?
What does this mean?
It means it's you and me, pal. Which means that
That's true.
it can be. Now that Mark is hung up, it'll be you on full screen on the video for the first time. I'll actually have it working here. Look at that! Look at that!
Oh no!
There we go. I like it. That's awesome, man. Which makes me very happy. All right, well, let's finish this off in style, Bruce. I feel like we've learned a lot. We've learned about everyone's favorite scene. We've learned about TIE fighters being an atmosphere. We've learned about Rogue 2. This is Rogue 2.
Standing by.
Learned so much. But man, is this your favorite Star Wars film?
You know, it's been for the longest time, but Revenge of the Sith right now just edges this out by just a little hair, just a little bit. And I think it's because I've been with this film for so long, and Revenge of the Sith I thought was so good, and it's the newest one that I think I'm still discovering new things in that one. That's why it's edging this one out.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. They're both really close for me, but it's just it's sort of like this is becoming familiar. This is new territory for me.
Well, see, isn't it surprising that a guy who grew up with the original trilogy when they first came out, I'm actually preferring a film that is a prequel film.
That's true. You're a rare beast, sir. Yes, indeed. Wow. It's hard to believe.
And soon The Force Awakens. I bet that's going to end up being my favorite for a while.
I think so.
At least I'm hoping.
Finished with me yet? You don't know how to fix the hydrodrive.
This is such a great sequence of music right here. And oh, wait for it.
Oh, he has a leg up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that look, he's like, oh, crap.
Like, oh, son of a biscuit.
I'm going to get choked on this one.
Oh, God. I was just getting ready. I told my wife about the promotion. She was excited. She was like, Barry, because I think that's his first name. Barry, it's going to be a great time, great opportunities. And here I go.
No, you just bought a new car.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. I love the Nebulon B frigate here. If you ever play Empire at War, that's what they say every time you highlight these ships. Nebulon B frigate. I love the design on those. This is also by far my favorite musical ending because it's just it's tragically triumphant because you understand that Luke has made the journey that he has to. Oh, look, Han Solo clothes. Except for, you'll notice that he's more dapper, that Lando buttons his shirt, unlike Harrison Ford.
See, when I originally saw this, I thought those were like the captain's clothes for the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like a uniform, not just like he raided his closet.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I just totally lost my train of thought of what I was saying a second ago. Oh, the end music. Yeah, because there's some. We know that Luke has gone through the trials, for lack of a better term, which is kind of funny because we'll actually learn about Jedi trials later. But we know he's been tested by fire, and he is ready to take the next step. But we know the cost of it too, and the heroes are so battered here as they're staring off because they've encountered so much loss, but they're also together again after being separated all this time after Hoth. And I'm just going to... Excuse me one moment here. I just have to bask in the glow of this music.
Soak it in, soak it in.
Yeah! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes another episode of the Star Wars Report's live watch parties. leading up to The Force Awakens. Stay tuned as we wrap up these things next week. I can't believe that we're already through all 6 movies, at least after next weekend. Bruce, you know what? Thank you for your loyalty, sir. I appreciate it.
You know, I'm always here for you.
It's a staple now, right, man? Anytime we do these kind of live things, you got to be here now. You're the most reliable of everybody. Erich Chernovice, editor extraordinaire at Del Rey's, all like, sorry, I can't make it. We'll just show up for the Return of the Jedi one. But you're a true blue podcasting hero, sir, and I appreciate you coming on with me, man.
Well, and as you know, and maybe you forgot, but I have listened to every episode of Star Wars Report and now Star Wars Tonight that you've ever done.
That's
so I can't miss these.
Sir, I personally apologize. Nice. No,
and you know what? The nice compliments people were made of you, just want to let you know that one reason I got tuned into your show and liked it is from what you were saying earlier, that your experience coming to these movies were different. Like you knew Yoda coming in, where I didn't when I joined. So your perspective was something I was interested in, and Mark's knowledge of the EU, which I don't have that vast of a knowledge, and I've learned so much from that. Both perspectives are very unique for me, and that's why I tuned into you guys, and I've stayed with you ever since.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm seriously, dude. I'm happy to have you and Michael and Cloud City Casino on the network. And I just want to say, if you're interested in Star Wars collecting and gaming, you want to find Cloud City Casino, your Star Wars collecting gaming podcast of choice, a part of the 2nd Airborne Division network of podcasts on StarWarsReport.com.
That's right. We'd like to have fun.
Couple things you guys want to know. Seriously, everyone in the chat, huge thank you for being a part of this. It's been an absolute blast. And tune in. I'll be setting up the Facebook event and getting the word out. We're going to finish this in style next weekend. I'm going to see if I can convince one Stephen Herbert Thaddeus Glosson the 5th to join us next Saturday or Sunday, depending on the day. But stay tuned to everyone's Twitter. We'll let you know as we get the details on that as we wrap up with Return of the Jedi next weekend, which is the 12th, which is a freaking like 4 or 5 days before The Force Awakens is in theaters. We are not only just under 2 weeks, we are about a week and a half. It is the 6th.
You can actually say it's next week. It is next
Holy
week.
cow! Man, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. But a couple things you want to know to everyone, and we've actually had a new one join us tonight in the chat, and we thank you. But for everyone watching live, if you want to support what we're doing here as part of Star Wars Report or Star Wars Tonight or these live watch parties, and help us out financially and chip in for the hosting cost and the equipment cost and all that good stuff, you too can go to patreon.com/Star Wars Report. So many people who actually called in today are actually patrons of us. So if you want to support us, that's the best way to do it at patreon.com/Star Wars Report. And we really appreciate everyone who does it. And we do so. We don't just say we appreciate you. That's why we record bonus episodes every week, which is what's going on right now for you guys who are doing it. So you can join us there. A couple things.
And we've also done a Google Hangout last month with all the patrons too, over that do $15 or more.
That's true. See, now you're really being the pitch man. I like it. I like it, Bruce. You too. No, actually, we're planning another Google Hangout for the patrons in January after the movie and the holidays. So we will be getting the word out on that soon. But seriously, just you can find us on Twitter. I'm at the Riley Guy. Bruce is at Admiral_Rex, and also at Star Wars Report, at Star Wars Tonight, and at Cloud City Casino. I believe that's the right one. Yep. Awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Got it all right. I think that's about it, sir. I appreciate you coming on tonight, and check out Mark at Illogical Rogue 2 and Star Wars Beyond the Films and all the content at StarWarsReport.com. We appreciate I mean, I'm a little I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a little glassy. I'm a little emotional, and it doesn't help that John Williams is in the background.
I think you need to crank up that music.
I'm gonna crank it up as we wrap up tonight's live broadcast. All I'm gonna say is, may the Force be with you. Until next week. There it is. Folks, we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.